Hello everyone. So welcome to Vibes Group first ever weekly market outlook. So in our market outlook, we'll be going through last week fundamentals, and we'll be looking at this week fundamentals as well. And next, I'll be looking at some featured pairs or trade ideas. And lastly, we'll be telling you guys about our inner circle. Okay, so for last week, we have a few PMIs data. So firstly, we have the Caixin manufacturing PMI, which actually fell short of expectations, coming out at only 51 as compared to the estimated of 51.1. And also we have all three pound PMIs, so the manufacturing PMI, the construction PMI, as well as the services PMI, which actually surpassed the market expectation and was one of the drivers for sterling. So which is why sterling was actually pretty strong last week. And also we have the rate statement for Reserve Bank of Australia. So even though the Reserve Bank of Australia didn't change or they let their rates remain unchanged, but more importantly, their statement, they actually mentioned the Australian economy is actually doing quite well, and they are very happy with the current price of Aussie dollar. So this might just mean that they're not looking to increase rates anytime soon, and this is actually pretty dovish for Australian dollar. Okay, so next we also have the Australian retail sales, which actually expected at 0.4%, but nothing much of a big news for that. So for Thursday and Friday, last week we actually have the Canadian jobs report as well as the NFP, so the US jobs report. So for Canadian jobs report, we actually had a worse than expected data. So unemployment rate actually increased from 5.8% to 6%. And even though employment changed, there's a 31.8 thousand jobs added versus the 22.3K consensus. Overall, we feel that the unemployment rate, which was worse than expected, could weigh on the Canadian dollar. And since this week, we are actually having the Canadian rate statement, so the cash rate date announcement. So this data could actually, decreases the chances of a rate hike. But of course, the market, there's already a 90% chance, or the investors or the market, they're actually voting for a 90% chance of a rate hike. So this data could, prove to pull down Canadian dollar even after the interest rate announcement. Okay, and also we have the NFP. So NFP last week was, worse than expected. So unemployment rate increased from the 17-year low of 3.8% to 4% currently. And, the jobs change, pretty straightforward, 213K increment. So nothing big, so pretty normal. But however, the average hourly earnings actually slowed, so from a 0.3% to 0.2%. So all this data for NFP actually delay the interest rate hike, which a lot of investors and market is actually looking at. So a fourth rate hike for Fed. So this data could be a breaker for the fourth rate hike. Okay, so moving on, we have this week analysis. So this week we'll have the ECB President Draghi speaking. So nothing big should be coming up from this. So I think what we should be looking at should be the ECB stance on the trade war. So US and China have actually trade tensions going on. So last Friday there's already a $34 billion US dollars of tariffs implemented on China goods. So we should be looking at how President Draghi thinks trade war. All right, and we also have the pound. So pound, we have the GDP this week. So sterling wise, so last week we actually had some good news for sterling. So Chancellor May actually was looking at a soft Brexit, which was actually accepted. So that actually boosted sterling. But however, just yesterday on Sunday, we actually had the UK Secretary David Davis and some of the other committees quitting because of the new plans by May. So it's pretty mixed for sterling now. So for Brexit wise, definitely might be weighing on sterling a little. But however, the uncertainties in Brexit has become common to the extent there's not much of a big influence on the pound. So I believe that they are more heavily dependent on data. So the GDP might be a huge deal breaker for sterling if it's better than expected. Okay, we also have the Canadian rate statement. So it's like what I mentioned. The market is already pricing in a increase in interest rate. So nothing much to be expecting. But however, we should be looking at the rate statement to see what's the plan from now on, given that interest rate has. And lastly, we have the ECB monetary policy meeting accounts. So I believe that should be something to look at, as well as the USD CPI featured trade. So firstly, we have the Euro New Zealand. So for Euro New Zealand, we actually caught for a short last week. So we believe that a collapse is unfolding, and we should see price hitting the red zone soon. Next, we have the dollar CAD. So for dollar CAD, we are actually in short since 1.332, and we are still holding, and we are looking at a potential target price at 1.28. Next, we have pound yen. So for pound yen, as long we are actually looking at the blue zone. So as long as the blue zone is broken, we are looking for more upside. So more upside towards a 148 level. And lastly, euro dollar. So we are pretty bullish on euro dollar. So as long as price can break the level of 1.173 convincingly, then we should be seeing some upwards momentum. Alright, so that's all for our featured ideas. So if you guys want to know more, do join us in our Telegram group, in our inner circle. So all you need to do, you can just join in our inner circle. You just need to use our referral code for Flutter Markets and open an account under us, and then we will add you to our inner circle. So in Vibes Group, it's a very, very interactive environment where sharing is encouraged, and we are always looking to have more members. Okay, so for Vibes Group, we also have a rebate scheme. So we're actually giving out a 4 USD per lot, so it's based on euro dollar, and the rebates may vary depending on the pairs traded. Alright, so if you want to know more, you can PM Eugene Tan, and that's all for our weekly outlook. So feel free to share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more info, don't be shy, and you can always PM our member here, Eugene Tan, for more inquiries. Alright, thank you.